I'm the top mercenary in the world, all because of something he said. It's too dangerous out there. I want to give you a home. I believed him. I fought like hell to leave the organization, and stopped right by his side. Until I overheard him talking with his friends. A girlfriend? Nah, she's just a bodyguard I can sleep with. His friend mentioned a name, Clara. The moment he heard it, he softened. His face, his voice, it all changed. Clara is different. She's the cleanest girl in the world. In that moment I woke up. I squinted a little, and called the boss who had been waiting for me to return. Boss, about that S-class mission you mentioned last time, I'll take it. Think this through. It's a secret mission. You won't be in touch with the outside world for a year. Aren't things going steady with your fiancé? I glanced at the man I loved for 3 years. He was just there in the middle of the sofa, playing with his wine glass, with that tender look as he thought of that name. I whispered, yeah, I've thought it through. The boss didn't press further. All right, get ready. I'll send a car for you tomorrow night. After hanging up, I pushed open the door and walked in. The moment I stepped inside, countless teasing gazes landed on me. Are Carrie's here? Nolan, seriously, always having your girlfriend drink for you. She's not just a girlfriend, she's his fiancée. True. Carrie once risked her life for Nolan. Naturally he'd repay her, right? From bodyguard to significant other, nice move. These were Nolan's good friends, notorious rich kids. Their teasing wasn't new to me. I couldn't be bothered to entertain them, and walked straight to Nolan. Seeing that I didn't react, they looked a bit awkward, and their teasing turned slightly angry. What, really think you're the fiancé now? We're talking to you, aren't you listening? Nolan handed me a wine glass, smiling. He turned to the man who had just spoken. Can't the wine shut you up? She's my lifesaver here. Don't piss her off and make her leave. He turned back to me, motioning with his chin for me to drink up. They love to joke, don't mind them. It's my birthday today. They've toasted me so much. If you didn't come, I'd be a goner. Seeing I still wasn't talking, Nolan knew I was upset. He softly rebuked his friends again. Next time, tone it down. She doesn't like it. Over the years, Nolan often took me to places like this. I used to think it meant he valued me, wanted me in his circle. But now, it seemed I was just a drinking shield, a bodyguard to sleep with. Nolan's friends pursed their lips but didn't say more. Then someone walked in. She looked a bit awkward, tightly clutching a gift box, fingers almost pale with nerves. Seemed like it was her first time in a place like this. As soon as she stepped in, Nolan jumped up beside me, draping his jacket over her shoulders. What are you doing here? Didn't we agree I'd find you after this? The girl's panic turned to joy as she saw Nolan, offering him the gift. It's almost midnight. I wanted to give this to you before 12. Right then, those teasing voices piped up again. Oh, this is Clara? Heard so much about her, a real cute little bunny. Nolan's face instantly darkened as he grabbed a wine glass from the table and smashed it. Cut it out. If you scare her, I'll kill you. Nolan's overreaction was chilling. The whole room fell silent. Watching him, I felt a bit dazed. His friends merely teased, but he raged like Clara couldn't take a word of it. While just now, they said much worse to me, and he mildly chided them. I bowed my head, chuckling at myself. The room felt heavy. I picked up 2 glasses, stood and walked to Clara. Clara, nice to meet you. I'm Carrie. Before I finished, Nolan snagged 1 glass from me, downing it. She's a girl. Drinking isn't good. I'll do it for her. With Nolan for 3 years, I was the one handling drinks for such scenarios. And now Clara didn't even need to say no. He was already shielding her, drinking in her place. Girls shouldn't drink much? What about me? Am I a guy? About to speak, Clara's necklace caught my eye. A pendant, the old faded bullet type. Noticing my gaze, Clara grabbed her necklace, nervously asking, Is there something wrong, Carrie? Before I could answer, Nolan jumped in. Clara mentioned this necklace being special, so I gave it to her. I looked at Nolan, catching a flicker of unease. After 3 years together, how could I not read him? He jumped to explain, just so I wouldn't question Clara. But he doesn't know me at all. I, Carrie, am not a clingy woman. Well, with your lady here now, I'll head home. Nolan, happy birthday. Not bothering to look at their reactions, I left the room. As soon as I got home, my phone buzzed. An alert tagged me in a short video. In it, Clara sat surrounded by gifts, a big bunch of red roses next to her, wearing a birthday hat. The caption read, "Someone who loves you will treat you like a child." Who knew you could get so many gifts even if it's not your birthday? Pretty soon, the video vanished, and the next second, a message popped up. "Sorry, Carrie, I tagged the wrong person. My bad." I chuckled, put down my phone, and didn't bother to respond. Clara's little tricks mean nothing to me. I packed my stuff calmly, but tears started to fall as I did. I didn't have much, just a few clothes I often wore, nothing beyond that. While packing, it hit me Nolan never gave me a single gift in 3 years. Back when things were sweet, I was like a little girl, nestled in his arms, playing with his fingers and teasing. "Why don't you ever buy me flowers or gifts? Other boyfriends do." Nolan would always smile and pinch my nose playfully. "My Carrie isn't like those ordinary girls. You don't like that girly stuff, do you?" I thought about the video again, the girl sitting surrounded by piles of gifts. At that moment, I realized it wasn't about being different. He just didn't want to put in any effort for me. Those gifts, things I begged for but never got in 3 years, were right there. How could it not hurt? 3 genuine years with Nolan. I really believed he would give me a home. "Why are you packing? Where are you going?" A familiar voice broke my thoughts, pausing my movements. "Nowhere, just straightening up the closet." My answer might have caused Nolan to doubt a bit, but he probably remembered I didn't know anyone besides him. So he believed me. He sighed, pulled me into a hug. "Don't misunderstand. I just see her as a sister. I want to marry you." "That necklace," she said, "it's special, so I let her wear it for 2 days. If you're unhappy, I'll get it back tomorrow. Don't be upset, okay?" His voice had that upward lilt at the end, slightly teasing. After 3 years together, he knew exactly how to make me soft-hearted. Whenever I was a bit upset, he'd say that line, and I'd melt. But this time, the light scent of gardenias on his suit made my nose sting. Before I could answer, Nolan's phone rang. "What's up? A cab driver is following you? Don't worry, I'm coming. Head to a crowded place first. Put me on speaker so he can hear me." He rushed out the door, not giving me another glance, and the house fell silent again, like he never came back. I smiled through the tears. That necklace he dismissed so lightly was almost a bullet to my heart once. As a top mercenary, our group took on shadowy jobs online. I met Nolan because he hired me. During that time, he was hunted by enemies, and I was his bodyguard for 3 months. I saved him countless times, and on the last day of my job, both me and another assassin shot our bullets. My opponent died on the spot, and the bullet that came for me stopped half an inch from my heart. I barely survived. When I woke up in the hospital, Nolan was beside me, red-eyed like a frightened rabbit. "You big guy, why are you crying? Our job's done. That assassin's dead. You're safe now, don't worry." I really thought he cried out of fear, being so different from me, used to dealing with danger. Someone like Nolan, raised with comfort, would naturally be scared in such situations. But he shook his head, resting his forehead on my hand, saying softly through tears, "The world is dangerous. I want to give you a home. Carrie, I'm worried for you. Stay with me, okay?" Maybe it was his honest eyes or the sincerity of his words. When he asked, I found myself nodding without thinking. From that point, I tried hard to leave it all behind, hiding away, dreaming of a future with Nolan. That bullet? Nolan made it into a necklace. He wore it close to his heart, to remind me that Carrie was his true love. But now, knowing its meaning, he still gave it to another. It's time for me to walk away. Nolan finally came home the next day, just before lunchtime. We had a business party to attend in the afternoon. He came to get me. I noticed the clock and knew my ride from the boss was a few hours out. I wanted to leave without raising suspicion, avoid unnecessary drama. So I nodded, changed into a dress, and went with him. I was on his arm, all formal and proper, mixing and mingling at the party. Then this guy with a beer belly, almost bald, stumbled and spilled wine on me. The red wine dripped down my collarbone, and that guy couldn't look away. "Nolan, your date is quite something." Nolan smiled, handed him a fresh glass. "You're too kind. I can't show up with just anyone. If you like her, why not join us for dinner? We can discuss the resort project." The guy's eyes almost popped, and his creepy gaze lingered over me. Nolan used to bring me to events like this a lot. Looking back now, maybe in his eyes, I was just a decent bodyguard, perhaps a tool for deflecting drinks, or even a bargaining chip in business deals. But never the fiancé. I lowered my eyes, hiding the disappointment, and smiled at the two men in front of me. I'm not looking my best right now. I'm gonna hit the restroom and freshen up a bit. Just hang tight. By the time the server returned with my clean clothes, an hour had already passed. I changed and headed back to the ballroom. Passing one of the lounges, the door was slightly ajar, and I heard some indecent sounds. A woman was breathlessly speaking, her voice full of longing. You say you love me, yet you don't want to bring me to these events. Am I that unpresentable? The man's voice was low and sultry. Men at these things are beasts. You're so pure. I couldn't bear to bring you to a place like this. I wish I could keep you safe in my heart, never let you get hurt. The woman giggled, offering a coy response. Don't get all worked up. Didn't you say she's in the changing room? Maybe she's next door. The man's actions were relentless, seemingly satisfied by the woman's response. I really do love you. Your surprises always delight me. Don't worry. These high-end lounges are soundproof. I made sure the door was shut. She won't hear anything. As Nolan finished talking, Clara shifted her eyes and locked onto mine in the air. In that moment, what more did I need to understand? Clara being here, and letting me witness this drama, it was all intentional. I curled my lips into a grin, and politely closed their lounge door. Just as I was heading downstairs, my phone rang. Carrie, where are you? I'm coming to get you. Plans have changed. We need to leave now. After giving the boss the address, I tied my hair into a ponytail and walked straight out of the hotel, not returning to the ballroom. If plans have changed, it's fate. Nolan, goodbye forever. 2 hours later, I was on a plane to the US. Meanwhile, inside the ballroom, Nolan was furious. He grabbed the collar of a waiter, face dark as he interrogated him. Where is she? Where's my date? The waiter, pale with fear, stammered out. Nolan, I really don't know. Your date went to change, but she never came back. The other boss left shortly after. I really have no clue. He swept the table's glasses to the ground, his face stormy enough to drip. He pulled out his phone, dialing Carrie's number repeatedly, but was only met with the mechanical voice. After countless attempts and no connection, he recalled comments about that boss in the industry. Lustful, fond of women, loves excitement, always looking for a thrill. The more he thought about it, the more panicked he felt, delivering a punch to the waiter. Find her. Find her or I'll kill you today. Just then the portly boss walked in. Seeing everyone gathered, he was puzzled. What's going on here? Why aren't you drinking? Hearing the voice, Nolan turned abruptly, grabbing his collar. Where is she? Where is she? Where did you take her? The boss was a little baffled. Nolan's patience was long gone, yelling uncontrollably. Carrie. Where did you take Carrie? Understanding dawned. The boss shrugged Nolan off, eyeing him with some disdain. You mean your date? I don't know. After she went to change, I didn't see her again. Why ask me? Besides, Nolan, I don't respect your attitude now. Earlier you were so generous, but now losing it? Man, if the girl really left, good for her. Nolan stared at him for a while. Realizing the truth in his demeanor, panic took over. He stumbled out of the ballroom, ordering his driver to take him home. As he opened the door, staring at the empty wardrobe, Nolan felt a deep loneliness within. Carrie was gone. Clara stood by sneering. Nolan, Carrie's just being overdramatic. You've been together so long, and she's pulling this withholding act. Still upset over my presence at your birthday? We didn't even do anything. Why is she so temperamental? Don't worry, Nolan. I'll explain to her that she misunderstood. She knows she's just imagining things. And isn't Carrie a foster kid with nowhere to go? Trust me, she won't actually leave. Nolan kept silent, his gaze fixed on the bare closet. With over 3 years together, no one knew Carrie better than Nolan. Carrie was indeed a foster kid, growing up among mercenaries. A woman who became the highest valued merc on the dark web. She fought her way up alone through the bloodshed, and never relied on manipulation for threats. Nolan still vividly remembered the day she agreed to be with him, saying it clear and steady. Nolan, I'll stay for you. But if you ever fancy someone else, don't lie. Don't hide it. Tell me straight, and I'll leave on my own. Recalling that, a wave of panic coursed through him. Carrie's love was sincere, never involving games. Seeing Nolan remain wordless, Clara grew uneasy. Nolan, you really didn't fall for that woman's tricks, did you? But it's understandable, you're a guy. You don't understand all the sneaky moves women can pull. I've seen plenty like Carrie. She's definitely using these tactics to mess with you. Listening to Clara ramble on, Nolan felt a spark of irritation. Clara, Carrie is my girlfriend. What goes on between us is none of your business. Sensing Nolan's tone wasn't right, Clara scrambled to cover her tracks. No, Nolan, you misunderstood me. I'm just a little jealous, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Isn't it better now that she's gone? Didn't you say you liked me? Carrie left on her own. So you don't have to bother breaking up with her anymore. But Nolan couldn't hold back any longer. He looked coldly into Clara's eyes. Do you even know why she left? She's my girlfriend now. Whether we stay together or break up, it's none of your business. I'm really overwhelmed right now. You should go. Seeing Nolan angry, Clara's eyes filled with tears, hoping to appeal to his softer side. Nolan, I'm not feeling well. Let me stay here tonight. She still thought of herself as Nolan's little darling, not realizing her words had shattered Nolan's image of her. A clever guy like Nolan easily picked up on Clara's underlying hints in their conversation. This time, Nolan cut her off directly. If you're not feeling well, you should see a doctor, not come to me. This is Carrie in my home. It's not appropriate for you to stay here. I'll have a driver take you home. We'll deal with our stuff later. Clara left, teary-eyed but intimidated by Nolan's dark expression. She kept glancing back as the driver took her away. Watching Clara leave, Nolan grew more unsettled. He knew Carrie well enough to know she wouldn't leave over just a minor birthday party conflict. Returning his gaze ahead, he gritted his teeth and instructed his secretary. Find out what happened these last few days. I want every detail. Once the secretary left, silence filled the house. Nolan sat motionless on the sofa, searching for any trace of Carrie. But everywhere was spotless. It was like Carrie had never even been there. Frantically, he searched the house, the living room, kitchen, bathroom, bedroom. Nothing. Nowhere to be found. In the vast emptiness, he grabbed his phone and scrolled through his contacts, realizing with dread that as long as Carrie's phone was off, he had no way to reach her. 3 years ago, he'd brought Carrie into his life. And for those 3 years, it was always her who accommodated, integrated, and compromised. Never once did he try to delve into her world or understand her true needs. He suddenly remembered, Carrie had a habit of jotting things down. He'd once teased her about it when she was scribbling on the balcony. Oh, our ice queen's showing a playful side, huh? Back then, Carrie closed her notebook gently, looked at him with eyes filled with warmth, and even a hint of hope. In the past, if I didn't kill, I'd be killed. Living in that hell, I had no friends. Only my writing never betrayed me. Nolan, if one day you change, I'll definitely break up with you. Then I'll leave you this notebook. You'll never know how much I love you. That memory dragged him to the study, where a pink notebook lay waiting on the desk, as if beckoning him to open it. Suddenly feeling anxious, Nolan hesitated before flipping it open with trembling hands. Nolan said he'd give me a home. Is this what people call a proposal? I suppose it means I'm his fiancée now. Today Nolan worked late again, but that's fine. A home means there's always a light on for you, no matter how late it gets. Saw a proposal online today, with a huge bouquet of flowers. I'd love to get flowers like that next Valentine's. He said today, I'm not a dainty girl, don't need all the superficial stuff. But I want to be doted on like that. I want gifts and to be cherished. Lily invited me shopping again. She says we're friends. Can I really have friends too? Nolan is all I need, but Lily's cute, so okay. Besides, Nolan's been out lately. Nolan, you said you'd make a home for us, didn't you? Are you going back on that? It's okay if you tell me honestly. Nolan, goodbye. Page after scattered page filled the diary. It was all about him. Tears slipped freely from Nolan's eyes as he slapped himself, remembering how his heart almost stopped the instant a bullet reached Carrie's chest. On that day, he swore never to let her go again. He promised to protect her and be with her. But over time he forgot his promise. How did he mistake her silence for indifference? Lily. The name from the diary suddenly popped into his mind. Lily was Carrie's only real friend. Grabbing his coat, Nolan dashed out of the house. If Carrie wasn't home, she had to be with Lily. Since the driver often brought her to Lily's, he knew the address. While rushing out, he called the driver, instructing him to hurry back and take him there. Standing before Lily's house, seeing the lights on inside, a wave of anxiety washed over Nolan. He knew deep down Carrie hated to impose. Chances were slim he'd find her here. But he was out of options, and didn't know where else to search. He didn't have Lily's contact info, so he just stood outside the villa and yelled, "Carrie, Carrie, Carrie, I'm here to take you home. Carrie, I was wrong, please come home with me." He yelled for what seemed like forever, when suddenly, someone in pajamas ran out. The moment she saw him, Lily slapped Nolan hard across the face. "Who do you think you are to come looking for her?" Nolan didn't care about the slap. Instead, a sense of joy rose in his heart. Lily's reaction meant she knew Carrie broke up with him. Carrie must have reached out to her, and Lily might know where she is. "Lily, do you know where Carrie is?" "I know she's mad. I promise I won't ever upset her again. Please just tell me." Lily looked at the red-eyed man in front of her with no sympathy. "You seriously think you can come looking for Carrie? I always told her you weren't good enough. You're just a playboy who will never be worthy of her. Every time you said you had to work late or go on business trips, she'd be with me. We're in the same circle. I know what you're like. You fooled her, but not me. But you know what she said to me? She said she trusted you. She believed in your promise to tell her if you ever fell out of love." At this point, Lily's eyes welled up, her voice cracking. "Do you have any idea how she's lived these past 3 years? Every time it rains, her chest hurts so bad that no painkillers can help. You're around her day and night. How could you not notice? I don't know what she used to do, but people were always giving her trouble. She'd get hurt and come to me for help. How did you miss that? But even so, she never wanted to leave you. She thought you two would get married. You promised her a home, yet she's gone today. She's gone." Lily threw her phone at Nolan. The phone hit the ground, and the text on the screen made Nolan's eyes sting. "An eagle doesn't pretend to be a canary. It belongs to the endless sky." Tears streaming down her face, Lily glanced at the silent man in front of her. "I have no clue about her past work, but she's gone now, and you can forget about finding her." With that, Lily turned and headed back inside, leaving Nolan alone. Nolan's knees buckled, and he fell to the ground, that last sentence replaying in his mind. Lily may not know Carrie's identity, but he did. She's gone back to where she belongs. She won't return. In that moment, Nolan couldn't hold back his wailing. See, Nolan knew Carrie best. Her love was always open and honest, never needing tricks. And just like her love, her departure was swift and conclusive, leaving no room for doubt. The next day, Nolan, drunk out of his mind, was brought to Clara by his secretary. Clara's face lit up when she saw him, thinking he was there to make amends. "Nolan." Before she could finish, Nolan grabbed her jaw tightly. Seeing his furious expression, Clara grew fearful. Nolan, what's wrong?" "It's me, Clara. Please don't do this, I'm scared." Nolan tightened his grip, his voice icy. "Scared? Weren't you scared when you seduced me in the hotel's break room? When you purposely opened the door so Carrie could hear?" Clara froze, ready to deny everything. But Nolan didn't give her the chance. He threw her to the ground. "I checked the hotel footage. You came looking for me on purpose, seduced me in the room next to Carrie's, and left the door open for her to hear. Clara, you fooled me with your innocent act. You're cunning and malicious. You wanted to drive Carrie away and take her place. Well, congrats, you succeeded. Carrie's gone. But let me tell you, you'll never replace her. You're not worthy." With that, Nolan turned to leave. With her plan exposed, Clara dropped the act and shouted after him. "It's all my fault. Nolan, stop acting like the wounded lover. It's disgusting. If you really loved her, why toy around with me? If she meant that much, why didn't you marry her after all these years? Why let your friends ridicule her? You're just a coward, scared to face your own issues, so you blame your failures on women. Carrie leaving you is no one's fault but your own." Nolan turned around and gave Clara a long look, but left without another word, stumbling out. Clara was right. It was all his fault. He failed her, and he deserved this. Seeing him leave, Clara's expression turned dark and vengeful. Nolan, I won't just let you walk away like this. For a long time, Nolan stopped hanging out with his friends. Outside of work, he stayed at home, trying to put his life back together. Buying groceries, cooking, cleaning, he kept the lights on all night. Because Carrie once said a home is where there's always a light left on for you, no matter how late. I found out about all this a year later, after I successfully completed an S-class mission and rejoined my team. My boss looked at me with a slight smile. Your fiancé is practically going nuts trying to find you. Aren't you considering going back? I glanced at him with indifference. Asking me this kind of question makes it obvious you don't know me well enough. The boss tilted his chin up, exhaled a puff of smoke, and spoke softly. I know you, how could I not? 4 years ago, you decided to leave, and a year ago, you returned just like that. You're the only one in the world who gets things done so decisively. Seeing me silent, he handed over a laptop. A D-level mission for 20 million. UN? I was a bit surprised hearing the boss say that. We're top-tier mercenaries. We usually take on A or S-tier missions. No need for us to handle low-level tasks. Besides, who would pay us tier prices for a D-level mission? I took the laptop from him and pondered over the mission briefly. I'll take it. The boss chuckled softly as he puffed out another cloud of smoke. I thought you wouldn't take it? Only Nolan would spend that kind of money just to see you. I pushed the laptop back towards him. Who wouldn't take a 20 million D-level mission? You'd have to be crazy not to. 3 days later, I landed smoothly at Country A's airport. I spotted Nolan at the arrival gate. He was holding a bouquet in one hand and a red velvet box in the other, eagerly looking around. As soon as he saw me, he kneeled down and offered me the box with the ring inside. Carrie, marry me. This time, I'm really going to give you a home. It's been a year, let's go home. Shall we? The mission was just to meet, so technically, I've completed my task. I took off my sunglasses and looked at Nolan, full of anticipation, and sighed lightly. Nolan, 4 years ago I trusted you, but we both know how that turned out. Why do you think I, Carrie, would make the same mistake twice? As a mercenary, I can't afford such errors. Nolan, we haven't had a home since a year ago, we can't go back. After saying this, I turned to leave. Nolan grabbed my wrist, tears streaming onto the floor. Carrie, I truly know I was wrong. Whether you believe it or not, I've only had you in my heart. I was wrong in the past. Not a day has passed this year where I've forgotten about you. Give me a chance. This time we'll really have a home. I'll protect you, I swear, Carrie. Looking at Nolan's pitiful state, I felt nothing, maybe even a bit amused. Nolan, I don't want to dwell on past rights or wrongs. Only people in love argue about that. For us now it's pointless. Got anything else to say? If not, I'm gonna go. I broke free from his grasp and walked towards the terminal exit. I'd barely taken a few steps when Nolan called out behind me. Carrie, I'll wait for you. No matter how long, I'll wait. Until the day you forgive me. Carrie. Nolan's voice abruptly stopped, and a gasp arose from the crowd behind me. I turned and saw Nolan lying in a pool of blood, with Clara holding a bloody dagger, half crazed and half laughing. You waited for her a year? I waited for you a year. You bastard, I was pregnant with your child. You forced me to have an abortion, and now you're proposing to her. Nolan, how could you do this to me? She crouched, seemingly aiming for a second strike. I sprinted over and kicked Clara to the ground. Security arrived promptly and restrained Clara, who continued to sob hysterically. Ignoring her, I dug emergency medical supplies from my bag and pressed them to Nolan's chest. He looked at my brisk actions with a glimmer of hope, trying to touch my face with a trembling hand. Carrie, you're saving me, right? But just before he touched me, I stood abruptly. No, it's because you haven't paid me yet. Saving you is extra. 20 million doesn't cut it. Add more. With the paramedics rushing over, I put on my sunglasses and left the airport without looking back. 3 days later, Lily and I clinked glasses, lounging comfortably on the hotel sofa. Ding! A text alert sounded, indicating a 9-figure deposit into my account. Lily peeked over and scoffed. Not stingy, that Nolan. But Carrie, listen to me. You shouldn't take back a guy like him. Promise me you'll listen this time. I smiled, swirling the wine in my glass. I didn't listen to Lily before, because I was still in love. But now, the long winters passed. Nolan is nothing special. The end.